for us to do. So this is all because it's what we base off of our science, right? We believe that we have the true knowledge of how the Earth works, and you're sitting here telling me it's been around for billions of years, right? There's been thousands of different societies that have believed they understood the way the Earth worked, and they were completely wrong. And for us to believe that we understand this in however much time in the evolution of technology, when it has been moving for the billions of years you believe it's been here, and we've precisely analyzed and we don't even understand what's inside of our ocean, but we've somehow precisely analyzed everything about our past. We don't even know our current life, our situation, and what's going on in our world, but we've somehow analyzed everything about our past to understand that, okay, we came from first dinosaurs, which were 10 times the size of us, roaming around during volcanic ash in the sky that was supposed to, 10 times worse than what a car would have done. And then somehow, now we're humans walking around on our feet because of some type of just regular going about of nature, right?
Sure. I don't think this is really a fair assessment of the value of science. So, like, for example, with the oceans, we don't need to know every idiosyncratic little thing about the oceans to have a model, to have a scientifically accurate model about the oceans, right? I mean,
we have a very as close as we can, but even if let's say the vastness of the history of time, right? You're talking about billions and billions of years. Even a small percentile of an error can completely change our entire belief of what is happening today. And to believe that we have gotten everything precisely right down to the minuscule detail is just, I think, unfounded. And I think that
I didn't say anything about getting. I never said anything about we know everything down to the last minuscule detail. But again,
so you're saying that the miracles don't happen. The Bible is not scientific, right?
Correct.
That the Big Bang happened. These are all definitives, right? And we actually have
they're established. They're established to be true beyond any reasonable doubt. Okay, so I have an example of where I think your analogy kind of falls apart. All right. Mm-hmm. Do you know how many tornadoes will happen tomorrow?
Nope.
Do you know what the temperature at 4:07 p.m. in Tuscaloosa, Alabama will be tomorrow?
Nope.
Okay. Now, with that in mind, do we know how the weather works?
For the most part, yeah, but there's still a lot of weather phenomena that happen.
Yeah, there are some phenomenon, but I would say we have a very complete understanding of how weather and climate works. Right?
On our planet and by what we understand. Yes. But if you take that same knowledge and put it on a different surface, we would completely be baffled by what's happening. Just the same.
But we could very quickly learn what's going on those other planets by implementing the scientific method and knowledge about atmospheres and weather and cycles and whatever else.
But what if the life form... Okay, so this is going to get into a different topic, but I'm just saying that what it's founded on is based off what we know. And what we don't know is what's more important. And what basically is being stated by this is that when people put out these comments and they like to believe that there's nothing more, nothing less to what we do, it limits the ability of us to grow. These things are put out to limit a human, to make us feel we only have such a minuscule impact on what was already such a vast world.
What are these things you're talking about? Science?
So the fact that people say the Earth is billions of years old, that humans impact the climate, we're all going to die soon anyway. Miracles don't happen. There's nothing to look for.
I never said.
Right? This is all
these things are true. How does this limit anything?
Because it takes away from what the truth is, and the truth is that there's a consciousness. Yes, it is. There's a consciousness. There's a right from wrong. You could take any human on the planet and put him in the worst situation. Right?
Do we know more today than we did yesterday?
I don't know, because you can ask the Egyptians the same thing. You can ask the Aztecs the same things. You can ask the people that had far more things than we understand today. Like anybody can sit there and say, "Oh yeah."
The Egyptians did not know more than we know today.
Are you serious? You explain how they got those over 2,000-pound slabs over 300 miles to get to the pyramid, so precisely aligned. Do you understand?
That's such a terrible example.
They were aligned
did the ancient Egyptians know about the general theory of relativity?
I'm pretty sure they did. I mean, their pyramids
What?
aligned perfectly well with the Orion Belt. They
That's
understood
a
enough to
toddler could
make.
do
Because
that.
if you're telling me that they constructed these pyramids, I'm pretty sure they had a general theory of relativity. You had to understand
No,
how
they
physics works
didn't.
in order to make
What are
any
you
of that
talking
happen. Are,
about?
are you going to tell me that you would be able to construct something without a general theory of relativity,
Yeah. Like the
leveraging?
Industrial Revolution happened before we had a general theory of relativity.
But we still implemented, just because we didn't know what it was called, we still implemented the mathematical solutions
No,
that made that
nobody
possible.
implemented the mathematical formulas involved with relativity to build the steam engine. James Watt, Eli Whitney, Thomas Edison, they didn't know
All of
shit
the
about
things that
general
are in the steam
relativity,
engine,
nor did they need to.
but they all fall in the lines of, what do you mean?
I have no clue what you just said.
So a combustion engine doesn't use any of the theory of relativity at all.
No, no, not at all.
Okay.
The general
How
theory of
so?
relativity is just it's a complex physics model of gravity. You don't need to know any of that to know how to do a steam engine or make a steam engine.
But
Sorry.
but no, but
The
the
Egyptians did
the
not know
physics are
more than
still
we do.
happening.
That is insane. They didn't know any science.
I can't say that they didn't know any science. They had to have known science. Science is just a
No.
product of math.
No.
Absolutely.
Science is a
Any science,
methodological way of
listen,
thinking. It's not a
it's a
product
product of
of
math.
math.
Math and science go hand in hand, but
That's
mainly
true.
math is being applied in science. Science isn't so much applied in math. Math is being used to solve scientific equations or scientific problems.
Uh-huh. And
So
yeah.
that's all I'm saying. Math,
My shoes
yes,
don't
math,
wear me,
yes.
but I wear my shoes. Therefore,
No, that's not the same argument, though.
I know.
But what I'm trying to get across, and I'm not trying to say that, you know, I know everything either, but I trying to say that what I see this to me is more just taking away from a religious standpoint of belief, right? And when people look at things purely scientific, and again, I won't get into it, but I'm sure neither of us could sit there and actually pull out the equation on how to tell how old and oxidated a fossil is based off of how deep it is in the ground, you know? But we believe what we
That's
see and what
not
we're
how it
told in the same way.
it's not done by it certainly is not done by seeing how deep it was buried in the ground. That's not how we date
No,
anything.
I, I'm not going to sit there and act like I actually know the process of aging a fossil. I'm not going to sit there and lie and act like I know any of that, but I'm just trying to make the point that neither of us would be able to pull out the empirical evidence to say and solve, if we had a fossil in front of us, how old it was. We're just told this information based off of what is being put in front of us. And the same thing goes for most religious beliefs. People will read and they understand what they understand and take out of them. For some people, the world was created, and the reason why they believe that is because the world is so mathematically precise. You could understand that. You could understand how perfectly we are aligned in distance to create the atmosphere which we live. How well nature
What?
coincides. The Earth's distance from the sun is in a
The
perfect
Goldilocks
it's
zone has
perfect,
a massive range of variability.
and we're just in it. We just happen to be in it,
We're
right?
within a
No.
massive range.
And where
Life
else is there?
adapts to
Where
the
Okay, so
conditions that it's got.
are the
Dude,
other
you have
planets in the
this
massive range? That's
you
what I'm
have
asking.
this
That's all I'm
almost
saying.
exactly backwards. Life adapts to the conditions that it's given.
So
Okay,
where's life on Mars?
Earth was not placed perfectly so that life could exist. Now, if Earth were wildly closer to the sun, then there would be no water, but we'd
But
have to be
it's
much
not the
closer.
case. This is
And if
not the
Earth
case.
was, why are you
The
interrupting
same
me?
way
And if
fractals,
Earth,
right?
why are you
Sorry.
interrupting me? The range, I've looked up the range of the habitable zone, and it's it's many tens of millions of miles. So there's no, it is not precise. It is not the
But do you
case that
see?
if we were anywhere other than here, life would be impossible.
But no, as far as we can see, There is no other place that is here. We are here in the habitable zone. We are the ones that are alive. We are the ones that are able to think. We are the separate link from the rest of nature. Yes, there are other creatures that have intelligence similar to us, but they were not given the same means to access their intelligence or use their intelligence. They weren't, like, for example, a
So
dolphin,
what?
right? That's what made us different. That's what set us apart, right? And then
So
another thing that's inherent with everybody, right? Maybe not everybody. There's some, obvious conditions people might have, but for the most case, the inherent good, the want good, the want to want happiness, the want to want greatness, right? You put anybody in a position where they're great, they're going to turn out great. You put somebody in a terrible position, I don't care how good you are adapting,
dude,
you are
you're
not going to be a
preaching.
good.
I just like to talk about science.
But this is the truth. This is the truth.
What
And
is?
what I'm trying to get across here is just that when you say things like the Bible is not scientific,
It's
right?
not.
How not?
Name one scientific thing in the Bible. Well, first of all, describe what science is.
How about the flood?
First of all,
I mean,
describe
there's a
what
lot of
science
scientists
is.
now. That's a great question. To me, science is the use of empirical evidence, or the first you make the theory, right? You construct a theory of what you think it is, and then you find the mathematical empirical evidence to prove said theory, and that's basically science.
That's close enough.
Okay.
Okay, so
So,
Noah's flood plainly never happened. So I
well,
don't
there's
understand.
been
Even if it did
there's a lot of
happen,
biblical
a
texts
story
that
a
say,
story that in a place it flooded is obviously it's not science.
I mean, that's pretty accurate, though. If you were to look at what science
It's not
is, like,
accurate because it
something that
never
happened that
happened.
was in the past. It's debatable because there are still
Not
scientists
no,
that say
it's not.
it's okay. I'm not like, again.
You might as well argue that
Everybody's
there's
done
two
their own
moons.
research.
There aren't.
No, I don't believe there's two moons at all.
Yeah, well, you may
Never
as
said
well
that.
argue it. You would have equal success arguing that there are two moons than there was a flood, or that there used to be two moons. How about that?
Well, how about the idea too that the Bible is supposed to be read and taken. You take the lessons out of it, so nothing in the Bible is actually written in the sense where it's supposed to be taken literally,
Well, then it
right?
can't possibly be science.